Georgia on your mind.
Georgia on your mind.
Georgia on your mind.
Brought to you by the New Media Institute at the University of Georgia. It's Season 4, Dogs on the Road. Welcome to the Georgia on Your Mind podcast. My name is Chris Sharp, and we're live here at Greater Atlanta Christian School, and I have the pleasure to sit on the GAC pool deck with Maritza McClendon, a Olympic silver medalist from the 2004 Athens Olympics, and not only at the Olympic level, but also NCAA 27-time champion, 11-time All-American, a 3-time world champion. I mean, just all the accolades.
Wow, that's like rolling off the tongue. I appreciate that.
Yes, but welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so we're here at GAC, and you kind of helped the aquatic program build a little bit here as well. But I want to go back toward your childhood a little bit. So let's start back with San Juan and also with Florida. Your time as a swimmer, how did you originally find yourself submerging into the water?
Yeah, great question. So I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, surrounded by water. When I was about 6 years old, I was actually diagnosed with scoliosis. So my doctor recommended swimming or gymnastics. My mom always used to take me to the beach, and like that was like my favorite thing. I'd take off running straight for the water. Never learned, basic water safety skills. Like I was just like, no, I love the water. Like let's just go. So of course, when the doctor said try swimming, I looked at my mom and I was like, yes, please. So that was her thing. She's like, okay, well, if we're gonna do swimming, let's learn how to swim. And so she did her research, found nothing fancy, just this is amazing. We have some amazing stuff here at GAC, but our pool was just a guy's backyard, and all he wanted to do was make sure his community was water safe. So he taught us basic water safety skills, how to blow bubbles, how to float, and then he eventually introduced us to strokes of swimming. And so from there, I will tell you a quick story. Everyone will probably love this. So this is when my competitive nature came out. So at the end of our swim lesson, he was like, okay, I'm going to introduce you to the sport of swimming. And what he did was he's like, okay, let's go ahead and do some relays. And so we got our teams together. Of course, we did our relay. We got started. I went second on my relay, and I'm like swimming super fast, touch the wall, we're first. And I look back behind me, and the girl didn't go. So I look back and I look up, and she's still on the block crying, not even on the block, on the edge of the pool, crying. And I was like, okay, we got to go because now everybody's catching up to us. So I did what any 6-year-old would do. I hopped out the pool and pushed her in. And I was like, we got to go. We got some things to win around here. So my mom literally was in the corner with her head in her hands and was like, okay, we got a little bit of a competitive swimmer over here. Let's go ahead and see what's next. And that's all she wrote. Like my mom looked up the local swim team, and I joined, and I fell in love with the sport.
Excellent. And so that pressure and really that drive to succeed and have that champion mindset that kept going. So kind of discuss really heading into high school and also being offered by UGA. So talk about that process and how did you find yourself getting on the map?
Yeah, so when I got to Florida, my family and I moved to Florida when I was about 9 years old, and joined a really amazing swim team. I had head coach Peter Banks, who was also a 96 Olympic coach and a 2000 Olympic coach, and so I had really great coaching around. For me, heading into high school was like right when I was watching the 96 Olympic Games. So I remember being inspired by watching those athletes and saying I want to do just that. But there was one thing about me, was the lack of confidence. I think my coach, Peter Banks, always knew that I could be the best athlete in the world. That was like his thing that he always reminded me of, even from the time that he saw me at 10 years old. And I remember just going for high school, and my freshman year, I didn't swim great. Like I got nervous. I got to high school state championships, and I was like, oh, what is this? Like, this is like the biggest thing that I've ever seen. It was all the high schools across the state of Florida. And so I got really nervous. And my first race, my freshman year, I didn't even make finals. And so that was a little bit disappointing. But then, of course, I had great teammates who got me back into gear, and I had an amazing next 3 years. So my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I won 6 high school state championships in 5 different events, which is different. Most people are like 1 or 2 events, but I had 5 different events. So I had all the freestyle events and the 200 IM. And that also then put me on the map to be scouted for colleges. And I had never really thought about college. I was like, that's obviously the next step for me, but I didn't really think too much into it. But I had the opportunity and was blessed to be offered, recruiting trips to different colleges. I went to UCLA, went to Auburn, Florida, and Georgia. And I that was just an opportunity that I was really, really grateful for, because then I get to see like what is college all about, what are those teams about, what are those coaches about, and what kind of experiences are lying ahead.
Awesome. So you literally went from coast to coast, just had all the visits, saw the whole country.
I
But
did.
Go Dogs, you chose Athens,
Yes,
Georgia. So,
I did.
Yeah, when you got on the campus, like before we get into the water, what were just some of your favorite things about Athens? Like what did you enjoy at the time in school, or did you even have a time? Because I know a lot of athletes, it's a busy schedule.
It is a busy schedule, but I will say from the time that I went on my recruiting trip, I loved Athens. Like, you walk on campus and it is gorgeous. The trees are like, it's like picturesque almost, right? Like, it's so beautiful. And the campus is so big too, and hilly. Here, when I grew up in Florida, it was like everything was flat. I got to Georgia and there was like all these hills everywhere, and the buildings were beautiful red brick with the Grecian pillars. Like, I just loved everything about Georgia and about Athens. So, it was just an experience that I knew from the moment. I'd been to all the other colleges and I was like, oh, this is great. The teams are awesome, the coaches are fun, but there was something about walking on campus at UGA that it was just different. It was like, this was a place that I was meant to be at. I had an amazing coach, Jack Bowerly, and then his staff with Carol Cavatani, Whitney Height, Harvey Humphreys. They were just, they took us in, and it wasn't just about me. They weren't just recruiting myself, they were recruiting my family. So they went, Jack came to my house, talked to my dad, talked to my mom. They brought the entire family up from my recruiting trip as well. So they experienced a Georgia game before I even got to Georgia. I mean, that's a seller right there.
Right, exactly, yep.
So that was another thing that was awesome for me. Like, I loved going to the football games and just the camaraderie and the excitement. You walk in and it's like, I mean, if you go to Georgia, it's like you don't experience that anywhere else.
Right.
Like, it's the loud cheering and everybody wearing their red and black, super proud, and that's what I love the most about Georgia.
Yes, and Georgia definitely, it's on our minds, as with the show, but at the same
yes.
time, kind of diving into the water there with Coach Bowerly, and what impact did he make on you, and also just the pressures as well, because what I love about your story is that at each level as you grew, there's some sort of trial or some sort of tribulation that you overcame. So what was that trial when your freshman year or even early on at UGA?
So at Georgia, I will say, I mentioned Peter Banks, who was an amazing coach for me. He helped me build some of my confidence. He basically took me in as, I would say, his daughter, right? Like, he was like my second dad. He made sure I got home okay, had everything scheduled for school, all those things. I got lucky enough to have that in Jack as well. If you get to know Jack Bowerly, everybody who comes in contact with him, you immediately feel this like sense of like, oh my gosh, he's an amazing guy. Like, he's so thoughtful, he's so personable, and he showed that at the pool too. He is a very tough coach. He definitely challenged me. He talked to Peter Banks and said, like, okay, what does Maritza need to be successful? Because I want to make sure that I give that to her. And for me, I love challenges. Like, you can't just give me something and just say, go do it. And I'll do it, of course, but at the same time, I want something that's going to challenge me. It's going to make me tired. It's going to make me better. That's going to push my limits even, right? Like, I want to get to the next level, and the only way I can do that is to go past my limit. And so that's what Jack instilled in me. I think every practice, I was a sprint freestyler, so I swam the 50 and the 100. I never trained a single day with a sprint team.
Really?
Not a single day. Even after I graduated from college, where I was a pro athlete, I never trained as a sprinter. So that's just another instance where Jack was like, okay, we're gonna keep challenging her. We're gonna keep pushing her. I had mentioned I won the high school state championship in 5 different events. I did the same thing in college. So at SECs, I'm the only person who's ever won every single freestyle event ever, man or woman. So I did the 50 free, the 100 free, 200 free, 500 free, and the mile.
Clean sweep.
That is unheard of. So Michael Phelps hasn't done it, Katie Ledecky hasn't done it, none of those athletes have. So it's a very proud moment for me, but that came down to how Jack brought me up, right? Like, Jack and his other coaches, Harvey, Carol, Whitney, they were all there to continue to challenge me and push my limits and make sure that, hey, this girl's got something. Let's go ahead and continue to foster that, and this is how we're gonna do it.
Absolutely. So that do-it-all mindset where, hey, I can sweep the board. If you want me to sprint, distance, I've got you. So 2,000 hits. What was that mindset when you went to the Olympic trials, the pressure you felt, and then what was your mindset afterward?
So I will say heading into 2000, I felt pretty good. I honestly had come off my freshman year in college. Our trials was in March. No. NCAA's was in March of 2000, and then trials was in June of 2000. And so at that point, I had come off NCAA's and SEC's. I won 7 SEC titles. I got SEC Athlete of the Year. I had gone to NCAA's, won the 200 freestyle as a freshman. Again, very rare. So I was feeling pretty good. I was like, all right, training's going well. I'm pushing myself. And I will tell you, I mentioned earlier, I got nervous. The confidence, suddenly I got to the pool and it was like, wow, this is like, it was back to my freshman year in high school where I just got super nervous. I was looking at all these other things, very, very distracted and not focused on my lane. And so the mindset going in was like, I can do this. This is my time to say, I'm gonna be an Olympian. I watched it in '96. This is my time to make my dream come true. Let's just get out there and do it. Now, I will say I am the first Black female to make a U.S. Olympic swim team. That was in 2004. So let's go back to 2000. I had that pressure, right? Nobody had done it. They were like, who's gonna be the next? It's probably gonna be Maritza. Like all these articles were coming out. And then layer on top of that, I had parent pressure. And so I had media, parent pressure. My dad was one of those athletes or people who, really wanted me to win every single time. And if you know, athletes, we don't win every time, and that's okay. But for him, it wasn't, right? So when I wasn't winning, it was like detrimental. And so had that pressure going in, had the self-pressure too, right? I said I wanted to be an Olympian in '96. This is my time in 2000. And I swam my race, got up behind the block, again, nervous, looking everywhere. Where's my parents? Is my suit on right? Like, of course it's on right. Like all these things. And butterflies in my stomach, all the nervousness that could happen was happening. And I got up on the block, finished, and I was 34th. I went in 4th. 4th place would have gotten me on the Olympic team. Walked away 34th place. And that was devastating. I mean, you talk about an athlete, just every emotion that came through was like, I can't believe this happened. That was my shot. I missed it. I had amazing teammates who were like, it's okay, Maritza, like, let's just pick it back up. We got some more races. Let's get going. My dad, very different story. I didn't win, didn't make the Olympic team. For him, I was an embarrassment to the family. So he let me know that immediately. I had 2 more races at Olympic trials. I could have made it. I mean, you never know, right? Like you can regroup and make it. I was still, the 100 freestyle, I had a chance as well. But my dad told me I was a disappointment to the family and handed me a plane ticket and sent me home. So that was like the end of my Olympic trials. I didn't even get a chance to even try out again. And then now here comes the media. Yeah. It's like, oh, she missed it. Very disappointing swim. And it was like all over the place. So as you can imagine, I was 18 years old at the time, very like young. I didn't know, right? Yeah, I had to process all these things. I went through a little bit of a depression, if I'm being honest, had some suicidal thoughts as well. I was just like, this is not for me. Like, why am I doing this? And I think the minute that I asked myself that and working with a therapist, it was like, yeah, why are you doing this? So this is where the mindset starts to shift of, okay, before it was like just a dream, like you wanted to make the Olympic team, like this is your chance. But we didn't think about how we were gonna get there and why we were doing it. So I got a chance to really break down and process and say, I wanna do this for myself. This is something that I've wanted to do. All the other things, great, it'll come. But this is something that I, deep down in my heart, wanted to get done. I needed to train differently. So I was great at like doing any set possible, but like, let's be a little bit more intentional. I needed to work on my start. I needed to work on my turns, like all these little minute things that I was like, okay, you're competitive, I get it, you can do everything, but let's focus in on what you really want to do. So then instead of doing like all the races, I was like, okay, 50, 100, 200, that's it. That's all I want to do. I eventually dropped the 200 because it's hard. And then became the 50 and the 100, but it was like a mindset that I really had to just understand, like, okay, this is what I got to focus in on a little bit more. So making those stepping stones, the confidence was still tough. I remember saying like, hey, I need to go to World Championships, and this is my practice for the Olympic stage. So I did that. I got my first I think I walked away from that meet with five medals, 5 world championship medals. So that was an opportunity for me to say, okay, this is a practice. The next year, same thing, right? Like, let's continue to practice on that world stage, so that by the time I got to 2004, it was a different ball game. That mindset was more focused. I was honed in on what I wanted to do, wasn't distracted by all these things. My dad say whatever you want, the media say whatever you want. Maritza had that positive mindset going, had that positive talk. And that's what I did heading into 2004, and here we are. I made the team, and like I said, all the other things came after that.
And so what I really want to capture there as well, because the success you had afterward, amazing, but also figuring out what you wanted to do, what Maritza wanted to do. So I work with a lot of student athletes. Like, we have seniors, juniors who are trying to reach that highest peak, that highest level, but just kind of dive a little bit more into finding your why, or what you, like, identifying as an athlete what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really, one thing I will say that has always helped me is take a moment to sit with yourself and process your emotions, right? Process, like, what drives you? What gets you geeked up and excited and ready to do stuff? How do you attack certain things? And how can you practice it, right? Like, I think for me, a setback, for a lot of people, setbacks are like detrimental. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Like, this is not where I want to head. But think about, how can you learn from that opportunity, right? Like, how can, my mantra has always been, turn any negative situation into something positive. And I lived that out through to this day. So I had that setback in 2000. I even had it my freshman year in high school, right? I didn't even make finals in high school, right? And then come back 3 years later to win 6 state titles. That's amazing. Same thing, 2000. Missed the team. That is probably the ultimate, like, setback, right? But instead of getting hung up on the loss, I said, okay, well, what can I do different? And that's where I had to say, like, break it down to say, like, okay, make those goals. And it wasn't just about the goals in the pool. It was about, how do I eat better? How do I use my time management better? Do I need to sleep more? Do I not need to sleep as much? You know, like, whatever it is, how do I stay active? Those kinds of things. But I think when you're focusing on what's your why, it's you have to feel that passion deep down inside. And then for me, it became a drive and fuel for, this is what I want to do, right? It's not, oh, I could do it, or maybe let's hope, let's hope it can be done. No, this is something that I'm going to put all my energy in and figure out how to do it.
And then you finally get that reward. You get to the, you medal in the Olympics in Athens, and you're on the Olympic team. And so first, touch on the joy aspect of that, just achieving your goal after the years of training. So first, touch on the joy, but then I also want you to kind of touch on being a symbol, right? So you were the first woman of color to represent Team USA, make the Olympic team, and to medal. And so really just discuss as well the pressure of being a symbol, but let's first touch on the joy.
Yeah, the joy, oh my gosh. Olympic trials was a process for me. We have prelims, semifinals, and finals. So prelims is everybody. Semifinals is top 16, finals is top 8. I had to make sure that I made every single step. So the joy, I was like, it's at the end. I know, it's like the pot of gold, right, at the end, at finals. So I made sure that I got through every stage of the process. And when I got up for my final race, I was in lane 1. So I was 7th. I had to get top 6 to make the Olympic team. So of course the pressure, the mindset, all that stuff was going through my head. I just dove off the block, swam my race, touched the wall, and I remember that moment where I was a little bit nervous about looking at the scoreboard because it was behind me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna touch, and then I gotta look back. And there's this shot of me, right? There's a photographer that got a shot of me like this, because I'm literally looking to see, like, where's my name, what's the place that's next to it? And I saw the number 4. That means I made the Olympic team. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like, I could not get out that pool fast enough. And it's a 50-meter Olympic pool, Olympic-sized pool. So I had to hop out the pool, and I kid you not, I skipped down the pool because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, like, I can't wait to tell people. I found my mom in the stands, I found my brother, like, they're all cheering, they couldn't believe it, and it was just pure joy. I was just like, it's finally happened. I saw that number 4, I'm an Olympian. And that's one thing, don't ever call me a former Olympian, I will always be an Olympian, because that is a feat that not very many people can do. And I'm so proud of it. So that was the joy of, like, I overcame a major setback to regroup, reset my mind, to then touch that wall and become an Olympian and make my dream come true. Amazing, pure joy.
Yes.
But of course, right, like what comes after that? The other part of it, and I said that before, is like all the other things will come. Made the Olympic team, pure joy. Now it's like the media. What does it feel like to be the first Black female? And I was like, I'm proud to be the first Black female, but I don't want to be the last. Like, I think in that moment it was like what I've done, amazing. But now let's work on what's next. I got to get that medal at the Olympic Games, and then what's next after that is making sure that I am not just hiding my story. I want to share, like, hey, you see me, you can do it too, right? It's like, it's that point where people say it's like visibility changes to possibility, right? Like, I want to be able to have people of color see me and see that I can do that. They say that themselves, I can do that. So the excitement of the joy of doing all that stuff, and then the media coming in, and it was really like an honor, right? Like, I really wanted to be that symbol. I wasn't one who was going to say, no, like, let's not talk about that. I wanted to bring it front and center and make sure that people knew that I was the first Black female. Now, did everybody take it as well as I thought they would? You know, it's society, it's people are people. I think there was a moment where I lost a little bit of sight of that, right? I think the people were like, oh, well, unfortunately, our people, right? They were like, okay, she's got curly hair, she's not Black enough. Cool, okay, great.
Yeah.
I still got haters even on our
Right.
side, right? Like, so there was all these things of like, I still had to fight the fight, right? I still had to rise above, still keep that mindset of what do I really want to accomplish. And the part for me is when I made the Olympic team, 70% of African American children didn't know how to swim. 64% of Hispanic children didn't know how to swim. I was born in Puerto Rico, so I definitely related to the Hispanic children as well. And that was a moment where I was like, okay, I want to do more. What do I got to do? I got to get into the community, build this platform of water safety, and build this connection that they have never had before. And that's what I really focused on.
Yeah, and you segued perfectly into that. So I really want to, taking that competitive drive from the Olympics, achieving a silver medal, being the captain of the captains, if you will, on Team USA. Yeah. So you're leading amongst your peers, but now you're leading the community. So really, what with Swim 1922, really what went into that program and starting that initiative, and just to share how that's impacting children nowadays across the country, really across the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will give you a little backstory on Swim 1922. So Swim 1922 started in 2012. Okay. I made the Olympic team in 2004. So there's quite a bit of a gap. There was a moment where I had shared, there was a lot of haters who just were like, it's not a big deal that you made the Olympic team, like whatever. So I lost a little bit of sight on that, and I kind of cocooned myself. I didn't really like jump in, dive in, like I wanted to do more, but there weren't any opportunities for me. And my now friend, Talia Brookshire, worked at U.S.A. Swimming, and she was also a member of Sigma Gamma Rho. And she was thinking, okay, she's head of diversity and inclusion at U.S.A. Swimming, and she's like, okay, what's something that we're missing? We need to connect to the Black community, or we need to connect to the multicultural community, right? Swimming is a predominantly white sport, obviously, as I was the first in 2004. And so she was like, okay, there's got to be somebody out there, like somebody that can lead this partnership. And so she ended up doing some research, found me. I hadn't heard from USA Swimming in probably about 4 or 5 years. So to have somebody reach out to me, I was like, okay, what's happening? And then so she pitched the idea of Swim 1922. So those of you guys who don't know, Swim 1922 is a community partnership with USA Swimming and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, where we're educating our communities about water safety. And on top of that, offering those swim clinics. So it's not just about talking about like, hey, this is why we got to do it. Let's get in the water. Let me show you what that means. And it's kind of exposing the start of that journey, that learn to swim journey, because it's so important. You hear 70% of us drown. We got to do something different. So that's what Swim 1922 offered. And I became a spokesperson in 2013. I joined Sigma Gamma Rho sorority as an honorary member in 2013 as well. And when I tell you, I suddenly realized what a big deal what I accomplished was. Before, I had no idea, because I was around, I was around people who didn't look like me, and they were just like, oh, you're just a swimmer, you're another Olympian. When I get around my ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho, they're like, you are amazing. Like, do you know what you've done? Like the impact you have, you know, we got to get you out there more. Like, they just made me feel so good. They put me on the pedestal that I had missed in 2004. So here I am in 2013, where I get the opportunity to travel the country and share this message about water safety, get kids in the water, get adults in the water. It's just as important. Now the statistics are 64% of African American children don't know how to swim, 40% of Hispanics. So you see the numbers are reducing. It's because of programs like Swim 1922. It's because of the opportunity that we're offering our communities. So Swim 1922, like I even when you think about the adults that don't know how to swim, 1 in 3 Black adults have never taken swim lessons. That's crazy. And that's where we got to change the narrative, right? Like there's historical trauma as to why Black people don't swim. You know, my parents grew up in segregation, so they weren't even allowed to go to the pool, or there was acid thrown in the pool, or they were put in the deep end. Like, it's scary to learn how to swim in the deep end, right? Like getting thrown in the water. I'm sure people have trauma from that too. And then lack of financial support, like all these things. And I think that's what Swim 1922 has offered our communities, and it's been super impactful. So much so earlier this year in May, we offered our first international water safety clinic. So I was out in Germany at the Air Force Base out there, and we hosted 50 kids, and we taught them water safety, and it's amazing. So now we can say we're global, but just the importance of being out there. Like, we're not just talking about it, we're out there doing the work in the water, offering swim lessons, and it's more, right? You're never going to be an Olympic swimmer until you learn how to swim. So first and foremost, let's get them to learn how to swim, and then introduce them to the sport of swimming, like I was. I learned how to swim, got introduced to the sport, and I was like, oh, this is for me. Let's go. Right? So that's where we are.
Yeah, and so you've conquered basically every event in the water. You've pushed forward in the community afterward, but is there another race for you in life, or is this kind of, are you on your current track right now, do you say?
I think now it's focused on the legacy side of it. Right, I've done a lot of the work in the community, and I'm still going to do it. Like that will never go away. That's my passion. I think I've always wanted to give back to the community. I think I'm going to be a little bit more intentional about it now. I'd love to transition and be a motivational speaker. I want to share my story. I want to help people rise above those setbacks, right? Unlock that hidden potential that they don't know that they had. I have those tools. I've done it before. I've done it all the way to the Olympic stage. So I want to share that in a big way. And I also want to write a book. You know, I think that every speech that I've done over the last 20 years, people are like, okay, where's your book? And I'm like, okay, so now I have some time. I'm going to focus on getting that done. And yeah, so hopefully that'll be the fruition. I want my kids to see me as a great role model, as a leader. And so I'm definitely getting a little bit closer to them. And my husband and I are raising 2 amazing children, Sanaya and Kason. So really hoping that they can continue that community effort that I have as well.
And you've helped out immensely here at the GAC community. I noticed you were at the middle school swim meet helping out a little bit, so paving the way for the next generation there as well. Yeah, Call me
Coach Ritz. I walked up to Coach Amanda and I said, hey, do you need another coach? And she was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I got some time, let's do it. So volunteer coach for the middle school team here at GAC. It's been super fun. I think the kids are still a little timid to come around me, which is fine.
They'll warm up there.
We'll get there, absolutely. But I loved it. I think it's so fun. And the fact that I'm at a stage where I have the opportunity to continue to give back, even on the pool deck, why not?
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, and you are a true inspiration, and not a former Olympian, but a Olympic medalist always. So thank you so much for coming on the pool deck and spending time with Georgia on Your Mind. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and go Dogs.
That's right, go Dogs. And we also have a few medals here. So talk about the heart of a champion. We have the display of a champion right here, the symbols right there. So Olympic medals, and are those world champions as well? What do we have?
Yeah, so we talked about my silver medal, of course. This is the Olympic silver medal. And it's definitely the thing that symbolizes all the things that I've done, right? Like the hard work, the effort, all that stuff. But I also have some of those moments where my milestones kicked in, right? Like I wanted to make sure that I stepped up at the world stage. So here's one of my world championship medals. I had 12 international medals. So this is just 3 of them. And then after the Olympics, I definitely was like, okay, silver's cool, but how about gold?
Right,
We got to go for the gold medal. So I continued to swim for a couple more years, but I had ended up having some shoulder issues, so that unfortunately ended my career. But this is my World University Game medal. I got 4 gold medals in 2006 in Izmir, Turkey. So, just a proud moment. So I just take these. I think it's important for people to see it, right? They hear, yeah, you're Olympian. I have my Olympic tattoo. But to actually see the hardware, and here, hold on.
Yeah, well, there we go.
So they got a little bit of weight to them.
A little bit of weight, yeah.
So you kind of got to feel it, right? Like it becomes a little bit more real and tangible once you see it. So it's really important for me. Any clinic that I do, any speech that I do, I bring my medals with me so people can see it, take pictures, like put it on, like whatever you want to do, they're here.
There you go. A champion in and out of the water, Maritza McClendon. Thanks for tuning in to Georgia on Your Mind, Dogs on the Road. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Georgia on Your Mind Pod for the latest updates, and we'll see you at the next stop.